Man Hour Nation, it's time to get shocked. Normally when I get on the old interwebs, I'm a master troll. If you guys don't know what a troll is, just follow me on Facebook and you know exactly what a troll is. But this one is going out to the Green Bay Packer fans. These Packer fans are up in arms that the Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur have officially parted ways with Amari Rodgers. Amari Rodgers was a former third-round pick for the Green Bay Packers just a couple years ago. But I got to ask you this question. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, Green Bay Packers fans in general, what has Amari Rodgers done for you in the last 2 seasons? I'll wait. Oh, you guys can't answer that question because he's done jack shit for you. All he does is fumble the ball and drop passes when he gets in. He is like the 7th-string receiver on that team, or was the 7th-string receiver on that team. So why are you guys all pissed off when the Green Bay Packers are trying to make moves to get you guys into the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl berth? Give Aaron Rodgers the farewell tour that he possibly wants. And you guys are all, oh, the Green Bay Packers don't want to win. We're cutting our best receiver. You guys don't have any receivers. Sammy Watkins is your best guy, and he is like Jameis Winston. He's never healthy. Like at the end of the day, shut up, move on, and understand your roster before you get all pissed off when the Green Bay Packers cut a fumble-prone receiver. Actually, he's not even a receiver. He's just a special teams guy. He receives punts, and he fumbles those 9 times out of 10. So, hey, it is what it is. But it's time to cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Of course, check out the blog section as well. If you guys do not know, let me remove this little project from me. Look at this new merch that just dropped. Maybe next year, since 1957, the Detroit Lions troll merch is officially out here, guys. So if you guys have a Detroit Lions fan in your family, or you know somebody, or if you're a Detroit Lions fans, head over to manhourradio.com. Simply click on that merch button, and bada bing, bada boom, it is right there. $39 for a hoodie, $29, or it's like $25 for like a long sleeve tee, guys. This stuff is fantastic. However, I like my hoodies a little bit of baggy. This is a 2XL, and this is just about right. So I say it is true to size a little bit. So if you guys like some troll merch, get it out here. But Detroit Lions, maybe next year, since 1957. And I got my Buffalo Bills troll merch on the way as well. But guys, it is Wednesday, and that means one thing and one thing only. It is Way or No Way Wednesday. We post some questions out there on the old interwebs, and then me and Beastie Combs simply answer the question. Is it a way or is it a no way? Factor crap, or whatever you guys want to call it. It is a Way or No Way Wednesday. Also going to break down Beastie's NFL Week 11 power rankings. Before we get too carried away, I gotta welcome the 5'4", 215-pound, the myth, the legend, the greatness, the peanut butter to my ladies, Brandon Beastie Combs. What's going on, Beastie?
What is going on, Michael Buckheister? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? All the people listening to us on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at, make sure you click that like, share, and subscribe. Also, for all those people listening to us still, in England, they like to drink their tea and eat their crumpets and
Right.
listen to Man Hour. That's just what they do in England. There's nothing else to do. The Queen died, so it's not like they have anything else to do. They're sitting in their houses. They're sad and they're listening to Man Hour.
Yeah. Screw those women. Well, women suck anyways.
Yeah.
F them. No, I'm totally kidding. But we do have some great people in the chat tonight, guys. I see my man Alpha Rob, as always, a loyal guy over here at youtube.com/manor. What's up, Alpha Rob? They've got Drew, a member over here. What's up, Drew? I'm glad you are in tonight. Long time no see from my man Drew. It's been a few weeks here. And right off the bat, Drew is like, Combsy, you're back. Every Wednesday, guys, Combs is here. He gives you the good news about the NFL power rankings. Of course, you got Mama Buck in the house. What is up, Mama? I'm really excited to see you in a couple days. Just don't bring Dad because he's a sourpuss. He's a Detroit Lions fan. But maybe next year, baby. Maybe next year. I don't know. Combs, I am super proud of this like merch, man.
Hey, anytime you get a chance to take a shot at Lions fans, I'm down with it.
Right. It is great. But let me get out the old phone here and pull up a text message from Beastie from Tuesday morning. Man, we text way too much, Combs. There it is. So with that being said, NFL power rankings have officially been released, guys. Week 11 power rankings are out, and there have been some massive changes. Some teams got moved out. Some teams got moved in. So let's start right here at number 10, Combsy. And you do have the Cincinnati Bengals getting back up into the top 10. Explain to me why you have them in the top 10.
Because the Cincinnati Bengals are still the defending AFC champs. The Cincinnati Bengals are a team that, to me, sitting there, where I believe they're 5-4, if my memory serves me correct. I really like Joe Burrows. I like what they have with their wide receiver core. I'm a believer in what they're doing. They've got should have a pretty easy win this week against the Steelers. They do have a tough schedule 2 weeks after that with Titans and Chiefs. But then after that, I mean, it gets a little bit easier for them. So I like the Bengals. I think that they're going to finish the season strong, and that's why I have them in at number 10.
Yeah, so you do have them coming in at number 10, and they're currently second in the AFC North, and the team that is in first in AFC North, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. Combs, people were up in arms saying that the Ravens are a top 5 team, they're a top 4 team, they're this and this and this, and you have them at number 9. Spoiler alert, guys, he didn't have the Ravens in the top 10 last week, so they bumped them up. So why do you have them so low when everybody thinks they're a top 5 team in the NFL?
Well, they're on a 3-game win streak. They're not a top 5 team in the NFL right now. They're just not. 6-3 right now. They've beaten the Browns, the Bucks, the Saints the last 3 weeks. They do have that good win over the Bengals. But when they played the really good teams in this league so far this season, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Giants, all 3 of those have been losses for them. So, I'm not going as far as you to say Lamar Jackson's trash, but I'm also not going as far as saying that this is a top 5 football team when they're clearly not.
Right. So if you've been watching the Man Hours, Combs, I've explained why Lamar Jackson is not very good. But let's stay in the AFC and go back to the East. How does this sound coming out of your mouth? The AFC East is probably the best division in football right now from top to like bottom. And coming in at number 8, we do have the New York Football Jets. Wow, that still sounds weird coming out of mouth 8 weeks later. But they did bump down in the rankings a little bit. You have them at number 8. Why do you have them at number 8?
I have them at number 8 just because, look, people want to go at me and say, well, they beat Buffalo and they should be higher than Buffalo. And I tell people all the time, just because a team beats one other team doesn't mean that they're in there, right? Like, I'm not putting the Jaguars ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not putting the Colts ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like, we're not doing something stupid like that. So I'm not going to put it out there. I don't trust them as much as I trust the teams that are ahead of them. They're having a good season. They're having a good run. At some point this season, I do expect them to wake up and realize that they are the Jets. It's going to hit them one time where they're putting on their uniform in the locker room or something. They're going to be like, oh, shit, wait, We're the Jets, and they're going to go right back to form. So
Stupid.
I don't believe I don't believe in them as much as I believe in the teams that are higher than them right now.
Yeah, and a team that many people have faith in, even though they dropped to the Kansas City Chiefs. My Kansas City Chiefs last week, and that is the Tennessee Titans. They play tomorrow versus a re-energized Green Bay Packers team, but you do have them at number 7. Let's talk about that. Why are they so low after their 5-game winning streak?
Again, they're a team that, I mean, for one, their quarterback's been hurt. They rely a lot on King Henry, and that gets them into trouble a lot late in seasons. It gets them in trouble a lot in the playoffs because they rely so heavily on King Henry. They become a little bit easier to beat later on in the season, whether it's he gets worn down or defenses are just stronger. I'm not sure what it is, but they always find a way to hunker down the stretch. Now, I do expect them to beat the Green Bay Packers, and for obvious reasons, the Packers just aren't that good. And so I think that the Titans are spot on with where they're at in the standings.
Yeah, so
the power rankings.
Yeah, moving back over to the AFC East, the powerful AFC East. That still doesn't sound right coming out of like out of the mouth. But the team that is number 1 in the division currently is the Miami Dolphins at number 6. Yeah. Combs at 6, that low.
Yeah, at number 6. Look, I know what people are saying, and they look at the power rankings and they look at the division standings, and again, we got to remember that the Miami Dolphins, while they are a good team, I think they might have the best wide receiver duo in the league with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Their quarterback is like we've seen him die twice on the field. Like, so I don't know that I really want to put all my eggs into one basket. Their schedule down the stretch is pretty tough as well. They've got the Texans this week, but after that, they got the Niners, Chargers, Bills, Packers, Patriots, and Jets. So it's not an easy schedule down the stretch. We are going to see what they're made of. We're going to be able to see what they're made of. They play the Niners, Chargers, and Bills back to back on the road. So we're definitely going to see what the Bills are made of here really soon. I just don't think that they are. They're not the best team in the AFC East. They're not the best team in the AFC right now. They're just ahead of them right now.
Yeah. So like it is what it is. A team that is ahead of them that has already beaten the Buffalo Bills. They're beating the Buffalo Bills. It's the Buffalo Bills, and they come in at number 5. The Buffalo Bills went from 1st to 3rd in the AFC East standings after losing to the Jets last week, right? To the Vikings, I should say. And but you still have them higher than everybody in the AFC East. Justify that.
So the Buffalo Bills lost a really tough game to a really good Minnesota Vikings team. I think people underestimate, and nobody's really been talking. I mean, the Vikings are 8-1. And before that game against the Buffalo Bills, it was always, well, they only beat this team, but they did it without this person, or they did it without this. Let's see what they can do when they go into Buffalo. And they went into Buffalo. They fell down early, and they got themselves back up. Justin Jefferson was absolutely out of his mind in that game. And so the Buffalo Bills lost a tough one at home. They've got a quarterback playing with a bad UCL. As they get healthier, they're just going to return to form. I still believe the Buffalo Bills are probably the best team in the AFC. I still believe they're the team to beat, and that is why I have them ahead of the other 2 teams in the AFC East. So just to clarify, you mean the AFC East, because not the AFC, right? Because there's a team better than them in the AFC. Let's just be honest about it. I still believe the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC, even better than your Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, we will be talking about that later tonight. But coming in at number 4, you do have the New York Football Giants. People are legit pissed off about this. They're like, how are they so high? Head-to-head, yada, yada, yada. Explain to me why you have them at number 4 and not – and basically people are saying they don't even deserve to be in the top 10. Well, how do the Giants not deserve to be in the top 10? Like, I mean, seriously, people that say this stuff are people of fans of teams that just don't like the New York Giants. Like, this team has shown time and time again, week after week, that they are for real. They're 7-2. They've got some good wins on their schedule. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Titans. They beat your so-called resurgent Packers. This team is pretty good. They have had a home heavy schedule in the first half, very home heavy, and so we're gonna see here on the back end to see what they can do. But dude, the Lions are for real. I mean, or I'm sorry, the Giants are for real. I was looking at their schedule. They're playing the Lions this week.
Yeah.
Then they got the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. And you know, I think that this seems fair. I think they're going to beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving too.
There you go. So coming in at number 3, a team fresh off of a loss. I hate to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot it. Toot, toot. I called this, and I told you that the Eagles are not very good. As soon as you put them at number 1, they're going to come right back down. And that is who you have at number 3, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. Are they still even a top 5 team after the Commanders laid that blueprint of how to beat them?
I don't think they laid a blueprint for how to beat them, right? I think what happened was you had some really uncharacteristic turnovers from this Eagles offense. You had some really bad missed calls. That missed face mask call was insane to me. And I saw that and I was like, damn. But look, what I've been watching out of this league for the last, 2 years, it doesn't surprise me that you've missed calls. You got to overcome that stuff.
Right.
You got to be able to overcome the turnovers. I don't think that there's a blueprint for beating them. I think it was a very tough played division rivalry game. And so that's why the Eagles only dropped to 3 for me.
All righty. So I still think they have a lot of flaws in their game, and I think the Commanders kind of exploded that a little bit and definitely did lay out the blueprints, but that is a debate for next week when the Eagles lose again this week versus the Indianapolis Colts. But coming in at number 2, you do have the Kansas City Chiefs. This team is clicking right now, Combs. Me, as a Chiefs fan, I think they're peaking a little too early, but you do have them at number 2 and not number 1. And the team you do have at number 1 is the Minnesota Vikings, the team that just beat down the Buffalo Bills, arguably the best team in the AFC. Why don't you have those two flip-flopped?
I was extremely impressed with what I saw out of the Minnesota Vikings in Buffalo. I watched this team, and I watched this team do their thing. And if they play like that, I don't know that there's a team that can stop them. If Justin Jefferson catches passes the way he was catching passes and the way he was playing the rest of this season, I don't know that they lose another game, and that might finally get them a trophy in their trophy case. This Minnesota Vikings team is really freaking good. And I mean really freaking good. Yep. The Kansas City Chiefs, for me, having them at number 2, look, they're a good squad. You're right. They are clicking on all cylinders right now. And for me, the Minnesota Vikings they're just that team. And I really don't know how you're going to game plan for them. Plus, they have a better record than the Kansas City Chiefs right now too. So, I was really impressed with Minnesota and Buffalo.
Yeah, that had been one of the most exciting games that I have seen as a NFL fan, and I would have hated to have been a Buffalo Bills fan at that point, because they legit blew a 14-point lead in the first half to lose in overtime. I'm just glad that Josh Allen did get a chance to touch the ball, because I could hear it now. Oh, he didn't get a chance to whatever, right? But I'm glad he got a chance to throw the interception at the end of the game to basically solidify him as not a crunch time quarterback. But what I was surprised about, Buck,
what's that? With these power rankings, Cowboys fans did not complain.
Well, when you give up a 14-point loss. So I saw a stat, Combs. The Cowboys were 180-0 when they had a 14-point plus lead in a game. They have never given up a 14-point lead in their history of or 180 games worth, right? And that was the first time. That was the first time ever.
That's crazy to me.
And as I saw on Twitter, I think it was like that Annie girl. It's like, hey, Mike McCarthy finally helped the Packers win a game by coaching her or something like that, right? It was just like, but yeah, it is what it is. So we do have some comments popping up here that I like to address, Combs. A Rogue Jedi over here at youtube.com/manhour. He says the Dolphins have the cheetah, the penguin, and the goat. They should be at number 4 in your power rankings. What, you have them at what, number 8, right? Number 8 where they have them? No, you have them at number 6. Could you possibly flip-flop them and the Giants? Like how can they get up to number 4 in your eyes?
Which team are we talking about?
The Miami Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins? Why do you want the Miami Dolphins so high? I mean, what about the Miami Dolphins is impressing you more than the teams that are ahead of them? I mean, are you talking about, their schedule, when they played teams like the Bengals and the Jets and the Vikings and they got blown out by all of them? Were you talking about, or are you more impressed by their 4-point win over the Ravens and their 2-point win over the Bills?
Hey, those were also 14-point comebacks though too, Combs. Let's not forget that.
I get it, but those were also, both of those were early in the season, and they were impressive wins. I had the Dolphins higher earlier in the season. But right now, look, in the last 4 weeks, they've won all their games, but they've played the Steelers, Lions, Bears, and Browns. And they got the Texans this week, so they're probably going to win again. I'll be more impressed. They can get up to 4. If they run this gauntlet these next 3 weeks, they could probably even get higher than 4. If they beat the Niners, Chargers, and Bills on the road, I'll be a believer. I just don't think that that's the case. I think that it's smoke and mirrors with the Miami Dolphins. I think that Tua is one strong hit away from dying in front of us on national television. I just don't. I'm not a big believer. I think they've got, again, the best wide receiver tandem in the league is in Miami. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are a dynamic threat. And you add Gesicki to that. They've got a good run game. To me, Tua is just too small. And I don't believe that they are a team that is going to be healthy down the stretch, and I don't believe that they are a team that can beat the top-tier teams either.
Yeah, so only time will tell, obviously. But obviously, as Miami fans, these next 3 weeks are very, very huge for them. Alpha Rob also says over here at youtube.com/manhour, if you guys have not subscribed or hit that like button yet, please do so. He says the Miami Dolphins offense will fade as the weather gets colder. I don't know, obviously in Miami it's always like 70 degrees, right? When you go up north and play a cold,
Miami's a tough place to play.
Right.
I mean, it is. But they're not going to be playing in Miami. After this week, they're not playing in Miami for another 3 weeks. They've got to go to Buffalo.
Right.
In the cold. I mean, Buffalo's supposed to get 6 feet of snow this weekend.
Sweet. I love it.
6 feet of snow.
Send it
this
down here
weekend.
to Indiana, baby.
I cannot. I just want to watch that football game. If they really get 6 feet of snow in a weekend, I want to see what that football game looks like.
Every year they seem to get those 12 feet of snow, and people are like, hey, come over to the stadium, help us plow out the snow. Right.
Not in a weekend. They're supposed to get 3 feet in one day. That's a lot of freaking snow. And so I'm really interested to see how that one shakes out.
Yeah.
If they do actually get that much snow, a lot of times, especially in the Northeast, they'll call for these big nor'easter storms, they call them, and then you get a dusting.
Right.
So if they get that much snow, though, I'm going to be really intrigued to watch this football game.
Do you remember what was it last year? I think it was the Buffalo Bills and the Patriots, right? And you literally couldn't see 2 feet in front of the camera, you just kind of saw figures running around. It was nasty, in that game. But Drew over here at youtube.com says that the Giants do not have an offense without Saquon Barkley. Drew, you are right to an extent, but right now that offense is running strictly through Daniel Jones on his legs and running a lot of RPOs with Saquon. But Combs, can the Giants stay relevant without Saquon?
Yeah. I mean, they can. Saquon's been a beast. They can. They play for Brian Dable.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is. They play for Brian Dable. That guy right now, to me, is the runaway coach of the year. He's got this team playing on all cylinders, clicking on all cylinders. I think they could go 2 or 3 weeks without Saquon Barkley, and they could still be able to tread water, and keep their head above. I'm still baffled by the guy who called Tua the GOAT. Like
Rogue Jedi called him the GOAT.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
wow.
It is what it is. We will be talking about the GOAT here in just a little bit after we get through some more of these comments. One Pride 40 popped up in the chat. Hey, One Pride 40, I got some merch for you. Maybe next year, since 1957, head over to manhourradio.com and click on that merch and get you some merch, man. But he says, Combs, how about those Lions?
I mean, look at them. I mean, $8. Just do me a favor. Stand up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me see that. What does that hoodie say?
It says maybe next year.
Oh, maybe next year. It's got the Lions logo on it, right?
I believe it does. Yeah.
Look, they beat the Bears. It was a good game. I don't expect the Bears to win many games this year. I'm actually happy that the Bears played well. Justin Fields is still doing his thing, and we're still losing football games, so we get a better draft pick.
Yeah.
So thanks, Lions, for doing us a favor. Our guy's still doing well. He torched you all game long. And then we missed an extra point, and it cost us the game. I mean, congratulations on the victory. It was a good victory. It was a hard-fought victory. The Bears can't stop a nosebleed right now. So, I don't know. I'm still trying. Tua as GOAT. Does that stand for greatest of all traumatic head injuries?
Jesus. Calm down with that. He is fine.
I don't...
Funny, hey, fun fact here. Alpha Rob brought this up, that Tua has not been touched since he's come back from his injury, and I actually just looked it up. He has only been pressured on 20% of snaps and only sacked twice. So, and those sacks were run play option plays where he was out of the pocket and he just happened to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage. So it wasn't even like a sack. So.
Did you see the numbers on Justin Fields' pocket? So when he has a 3-step drop, he has 2.3 seconds to get rid of the ball on average.
Right.
When he has a 5-step drop, he has a 2.1 second average to get rid of the ball. And when he has a 7-step drop, he has a 1.3 second average to get rid of the football. How gross is that? Dude, they have $114 million cap space. They better spend $114.7 million of that on freaking offensive line help this offseason.
Yeah, they need to get about four deep on all 5 spots here.
Yeah. No,
but
absolutely.
Before we move on to the next topic, the key topic of today's show here, Drew over here at YouTube.com says that the Philadelphia Eagles will now play looser and be more dangerous threat in the NFL since they're no longer fighting that undefeated season. What are your thoughts about that?
See, I always wonder about that. I always wonder if teams, if it's in the back of their mind, hey, we're undefeated. We really want to stay undefeated.
Right.
And I might have bought that if it wasn't a division rivalry game, right? Like Washington is one of their biggest rivals,
right? And
they look. Washington's clicking on us. Washington's impressive right now too. That defense is playing very well. Their offense has been playing very well. And I don't think they should go back from Taylor Heinicke. I think Taylor Heinicke should be their starting quarterback the rest of the season, if you ask me.
Facts.
But they're going to get back to their winning ways, but mostly because they play the Colts this week.
Whoa, easy.
and then they get the Green Bay Packers. Like, I mean, 2 terrible teams before they finally get tested again by the Titans and the Giants. And then they get to beat up on my Bears, before they finish against the Cowboys and the Giants again. But
right.
They're going to get back to their winning ways. I see them maybe losing 2 or 3 more games the rest of the season. They're going to be fine. They're going to be a real threat in the NFC. By real threat, I mean they're probably going to get bounced in the first round by like the 7th seed or something.
Okay, so I was going to add this comment to the end of our rundown, but One Pride 40 just fired up Alpha Rob over here at youtube.com/man hour. He says, One Pride 40 says, I got a hot take. The Lions will beat the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving. So, Combs, let me ask you this. One Pride 40 is obviously a Detroit Lions fan. Alpha Rob obviously is a Buffalo Bills fan. If I remember correctly, the Detroit Lions haven't won on Thanksgiving in many, many years. Maybe next year, right? Maybe next year they'll win. Can the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving morning beat the Buffalo Bills?
I mean, does Buffalo forfeit after playing in 6 feet of snow?
No. I mean, I do got my Buffalo
are they gonna show
Bills
up
shirt
and
on
play?
right here. Do I need to pop that up for you? No, I'm totally kidding. It's a Chiefs shirt.
I wouldn't bet on it. Like, I'm not putting money on it. I mean, I know Lions fans are all puffed up after beating the Chicago Bears, but let me just give you a little hint here. Coming from a Bears fan, the Bears aren't very good. So the fact that you were able to score on a defense that just is not very good does not show you what you're going to do. And what you knew going into that game, and that's what I keep telling people. The defense knew the only way to stop the Bears was to contain Justin Fields, and they still couldn't do it. What are you going to do when you got to play Josh Allen, who's a bigger version of Justin Fields, but he also has weapons? Like, the Bills are prone to probably put up 50 points, maybe 60 points on the Detroit Lions. The Bills are going to win that one running away. I mean, look, it's the NFL. Nothing would surprise me anymore, especially with this season. I think we still only have half, or maybe even less than half, of the teams in the league have a 500 or better record. So I wouldn't pick it. But if something crazy happened, it wouldn't shock me. But I mean, unless Josh Allen doesn't play, I'm not picking the Lions in that game. Sorry, One Pride.
Yeah, and Rogue Jedi says, I don't think it's even likely if Case Keenum starts. Whoa, buddy.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey, hang on here, Combs. We said Case Keenum is better for the Buffalo Bills than Josh Allen.
I didn't think Josh Allen was playing this weekend.
Right.
Against Minnesota, and I still picked the Bills to win with Case Keenum, because I think the Bills are good enough to win with Case Keenum.
Right.
Case Keenum, when he was a starting quarterback with the Minnesota Vikings, he was a pretty damn good starting quarterback. And you give him the weapons, and you give him what he's got. I think that they would be all right under Case Keenum, and I would still probably pick them against the Lions. I mean, I'd pick anybody but the Bears to beat the Lions at this point.
I don't know, man. I have faith in the Detroit Lions. I will be rooting for the Detroit Lions just because my dad will be here, and I want him to put some outlets in my garage, and I don't want him like upset. But Combs, it is that time of night.
I can help you with the outlets, man. Don't worry. Go ahead, piss them off. I got you.
It's time for way or no way.
No way. Yes way.
And guys, way or no way is exactly what it sounds like. I give Beastie and myself a statement, and we simply answer the question, is it a way or no way, and give some analysis behind it. So the first one up of the night here, Combs, is I went over to NFL.com, and they released their weekly quarterback. They basically put quarterbacks in a ranking moving forward. Right now, Tua is sitting at number 5 behind Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and I don't remember the rest. Maybe like Tom Brady. I don't know. But Tua is sitting at number 5 right now. I was jumping on the AFC East Trash Talk group that we have over here at facebook.com/manhoursports, and people are ranting and raving saying that Tua is going to win the MVP this season, Combs. So way or no way, with the 71% completion rate so far this year, Over 2,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Tua is the front runner to win the MVP this season. Way or no way?
I'm gonna say no way. Right now, if I'm having a vote, I might not even give it to a quarterback right now. I know it's a primarily quarterback-driven award, and that's what everybody wants to see. But if I'm going MVP, I'm looking into Minnesota right now, and I'm looking at Justin Jefferson.
Right.
When you talk about quarterbacks and ranking them at number 5, I actually did this the other day. As an exercise with somebody about Justin Fields. Actually, I went through it team by team by team. Would you Justin Fields or this guy, Justin Fields or that guy? And I think we had Justin Fields at 6 or 7, and I think people would think that that's crazy too. But when you start looking at it quarterback by quarterback, I would say Tua is probably in that 5 to 7 range, right? Like I wouldn't be mad at people right now for taking Tua over Justin Fields. I wouldn't be mad right now for people taking. You go in his own division, right? You're taking him over Zach, right? Taking him over Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean Zach's not playing well. Yeah.
Yeah, you take him over Mac Jones, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And you go away from his division because you're not taking him over Josh Allen, right? That's crazy.
No,
that's crazy talk. You're not taking him over Josh Allen. Let's just go with the top quarterback. You taking him over Lamar?
No, I think Lamar is better than.
You taking him over Joe Burrow? Hell no.
Probably not.
Hell no.
Yeah. No.
I wouldn't even. What are you thinking about? I wouldn't even think about that one.
Well, the reason that I hesitated is because Jamar Chase is out for Joe Burrow, and he is his number one.
Right, but I'm saying as a quarterback, we're saying if we put all these quarterbacks on the same field.
Oh, okay.
Right, with the same players.
I got you.
That's how you usually do.
Right. Okay.
So he's better than any quarterback in the AFC South, right? You're not gonna take any of those guys.
Right.
I mean, unless you're. Are you taking?
No, I'm not taking Ryan Tannehill over him. No.
Okay. Then you go to the AFC West, and I could tell you there's 3 quarterbacks there I'd rather have than Tua. I'm taking Patty Mahomes over him.
Right.
I'm taking Justin Herbert over Tua, and I'm probably taking Derek Carr over Tua.
Right.
Okay. So that's 6. And you go to the NFC. Are you taking Jalen Hurts over Tua?
Right now, Hurts is performing, so no.
Okay. What about Dak Prescott?
Yeah, probably.
So that's 7. Now you taking them over Danny Dimes? Probably.
Yeah.
You're taking them over Heineke.
Yep.
Right? Taking them over Kirk Cousins. You're probably taking them over, at this point, you're taking them over.
Well, hang on. Kirk Cousins is putting up MVP numbers. Better numbers than last year when he should have won the MVP over Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know if I'm going that. We can make that all right. I'll give it to you. So there's 8 you have over Tua. What about Justin Fields? Would you take Justin Fields or Tua? Moving forward for the next 10 years, who are you taking?
Justin Fields.
Okay. So Tom Brady, you'll probably take him over at this point. Mariota, you take him over at this point. I don't know who the Panthers quarterback is, but you take him over him at this point.
Yep.
The Saints, I mean, I'm taking them over Jameis at this point. Geno Smith, Jimmy G, taking him over there. Matt Stafford, you're taking him over there. You taking him over Kyler?
Oh yeah, 100%. Kyler sucks.
Okay, so right now you would have Tua at 9.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where people get all up in arms because you start thinking about who would you rather have, and you start looking at all the other quarterbacks. And that's how people look at it. But look, people are always going to defend their guy. I mean, that's just what it is. Like me, I'm always going to defend Justin Fields, right? Because I go into it and people are always like, oh, well, Justin Fields, he's just a runner. He's just this. He's getting the same stuff that Lamar Jackson gets, right? But then you got to defend him, right? He's a runner because he has no offensive line and he has no weapons. He has no choice but to run the ball. I just told you the times that he has in his own pocket, right? So he has to be a runner. But the people will defend Tua being 5th, but then the people that aren't Dolphins fans, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, Tua? Like I'm taking a lot of people over Tua, especially with concussion issues. Like I don't know if Tua's going to play next week. Like so, I don't agree with Tua being 5th. But I don't have a problem with them being in that 5 to 7 range.
So here's the problem that I have with Tua even being considered for the MVP. Normally, when you win an MVP, you have to play a complete season, right? Tua has missed 3 games already this season because of injury issues. Now, on the flip side of the coin, he has been undefeated when he has played, right? So as a quarterback, as a quarterback starting and ending the game, he is undefeated. So I could see where that MVP talk could come into play. But when it comes to push and shove, I want to give the MVP to a player that I know is going to be there week in and week out. Justin Herbert. Hell, I think Geno Smith is probably the front runner for the MVP this year. He is hands down the most valuable player on the Seattle Seahawks team. Where would they be without him? Think about this, Combs. Preseason, we all thought he was going to be a one and done. Week 1, he is going to shit the bed. The Seahawks are going to suck. They're going to put in Drew Lock, Jacob Eason, whoever, right? Hello, the Seahawks are in first place in the NFC West. They are firmly a competitive team right now. And they went to Arizona. They whooped the Arizona Cardinals. Geno Smith is probably the front runner of the MVP. Tua, to me, is probably not even in the conversation. The only reason why people are putting them in the conversation is because the Dolphins are currently in first place in the best division of football, and that's the only reason why. And like the MVP is a very skewed award at the end of the day. Right now in the NFL, MVP means best quarterback on the best team. They need to change it, because I think Geno Smith is a true most valuable player for his team, hands down. No, like, what are your thoughts about that? Should Geno Smith be in consideration?
I think Geno Smith's got to be in consideration right now. I mean, nobody's talking. Just like I said, nobody's talking about the Minnesota Vikings and being 8-1. Nobody's talking about what Geno Smith is doing in Seattle and how impressive it is. Because we looked at this a year ago, and Russell Wilson, who got this big old monstrous contract in Denver, who isn't living up to it there either, he wasn't able to do this in Seattle. And now you've got Geno Smith taking over, and he's completing 70% of his passes. And he's looking like a quarterback that is rejuvenated again. I mean, this is Geno freaking Smith, right? This is the same Geno Smith we watched all those years with the New York Jets, and eventually just became a journeyman backup quarterback before all of a sudden we're hearing from him again last year as the backup in Seattle, and now he's their starter, and he's completing 73% of his passes and lighting the world up, and they're leading the AFC West or NFC West. So I like Geno Smith. I like what he's doing. He definitely should be in consideration for MVP, comeback player of the year, all sorts of different awards he should be acknowledged for.
Yeah, and let's not forget about who his coach was in New York. It was Rex Ryan. Not a very good coach. Let's just be honest about it. Like, he's a good analyst, and he has the widest teeth I've ever seen, right? They get wider and wider every freaking day. But yeah, he wasn't a very good head coach in the end. But moving on to the next one. Let's move on down south here, and that is to the New Orleans Saints. Andy Dalton has officially been named starter moving forward for the foreseeable future for the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston is still nursing that injured back. Combs, with that being said, you think Jameis Winston is a top 15 quarterback when healthy, obviously. So with all that being said, way or no way, Jameis Winston's career in New Orleans is officially over with his most recent injury.
No, I don't think Jameis' career is over. I don't know why they keep going to Andy Dalton. If the Saints offense wants to stop being so stagnant, they need to bring Jameis back into the game and actually open it up for him. Allow Jameis to play the game. If he throws a bunch of interceptions, let him throw a bunch of interceptions. Let me ask you a question, Buck. Would you rather have Jameis Winston, who throwing for 70% completion and throwing for I don't know, maybe maybe 2,000 yards in a season and maybe you win 4 or 5 of those games? Or would you rather have this guy lighting it up, throwing 15 or 16 interceptions, which is his average, throwing for 4,000 plus yards, which is his average, and throwing for 20 plus touchdowns, which is his average? Like, let the kid loose. Let the kid play. Stop handcuffing him. That is why your offense has been so sad. That's why Jameis hasn't been successful. That's why he would have been successful had they not changed coaches. But that's why he hasn't been successful in New Orleans, because they're not letting him play loose. They're not letting him be who Jameis Winston is, which is a dynamic player who can make plays. You've got to let the kid loose. Take the handcuffs off and get Andy Dalton out from under center. We seen this show last year in Chicago. It doesn't work. He's not that guy anymore. He had a decent career when he was with the Cincinnati Bengals. He is not that guy anymore. Put Andy Dalton to bed. Get Jameis Winston back out there, and this offense will flourish under Jameis Winston.
Combs, what color is your beard?
Well, gray and red.
Mine is red as too. What color is Andy Dalton's beard or hair? Red, right? Why are you not supporting fellow gingers? Why are you being racist, Combs?
Trash.
Like,
Dalton is trash.
Andy Dalton's a top 15 quarterback in the league. Talk about being handcuffed. Andy Dalton is being handcuffed by Michael Thomas being, quote, injured, Alvin Kamara doing whatever. Like, this Saints organization or this Saints team right now, Combs, it is a complete disaster shithole right now. It is crazy to me to even think, like, would Jameis Winston be any better than Andy Dalton? And the answer is no. If you think Jameis Winston is a top 15 quarterback, by default, Andy Dalton is a top 15 quarterback, because they would still both have 3 wins. They would still be, well, I think they're third in the AFC South, or the NFC South. I mean, they would both be where they're at right now. So obviously, if Jameis Winston is a top 15 quarterback, by therefore Andy Dalton has to be a top 15 quarterback as well. But with all that being said, has Jameis Winston played more than like 10 games in New Orleans? I don't think he has, because he tore his ACL, right? And now his back injury.
Yeah.
And then he was a backup to Drew Brees. So out of 3 years, out of 36 possible games, right, he has played like 10. Like, they have a quarterback from your Notre Dame Irish on there. I forget his name. Ian Book, right? He definitely has a chance to be the future on that team. Get Andy Dalton out of there. Ship Jameis off to Carolina, where all these other quarterbacks are heading. Why not have 3 first-round overall picks all in your quarterback back room? So yes, I'm gonna go with Way that Jameis Winston's career is over in New Orleans. Now in the NFL, yet to be determined. Like, how old is he? He's probably 32, isn't he, or so? So he might be done in the NFL. I don't know. I mean, no, he's not that old, is he? He's probably like 29, right?
Who, Jameis?
Yeah.
No, he's got to be 30, 31, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but either way, let's backtrack a little bit to this Tua conversation that we had. Jared Parrott over here at facebook.com/manhoursports, he asked a question for MVP voting right now. Who would get more votes, Tyreek Hill or Tua Tagovailoa?
God, I think Waddle's been the better receiver of the two, hasn't he?
Yeah. Tyreek Hill he doesn't have the stats, right? I think he's found the end zone like maybe twice, and now he's put up some numbers.
Only 28, right? By the way.
Say that again.
Jameis Winston's only 28.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, Hill, he has been that dynamic factor on tape, but stat-wise, he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think that, God, I don't know that you would give it to Hill. I really do want to say that Jalen Waddle has been their better
Oh, he
better
has.
receiver.
He has 100%.
No, Tyreek Hill's got more receiving yards than him though.
Well, let's look at touchdowns. Jalen Waddle probably has like 9, doesn't he? Versus Tyreek Hill's 2 or 3.
Jalen Waddle has 6. Tyreek Hill has 4.
Okay.
But Tyreek Hill has 300 more yards, 30 more catches. He's also got 30 more targets. So he's looking for Tyreek Hill a lot more.
Right.
So I guess maybe in that aspect, I guess maybe you do give it to Hill. Because Hill was able to do it while Tua was out too, though. That's the thing. Like Hill was still able to keep them, at least a relevant offense. I mean, they were losing a lot of games while Tua was out, but I don't know. I don't look at Tua as a. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I'm just not a believer in Tua.
If I had a vote between the two, I would vote for Tua over Tyreek Hill because Tua is undefeated this season when he starts and ends a game. Tyreek Hill did not make game-changing plays on that 3-game losing streak that they had earlier this season. So that's why I would vote Tua.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right, guys, moving on to the next way or no way.
No way. Yes way.
Week 11 of the NFL season is officially here. The Cowboys have officially moved on from their loss in Green Bay, but now they travel up north again to take on the Minnesota Vikings this weekend. They are officially listed as underdogs versus the Vikings. The Vikings have arguably come off one of their biggest wins of the season over the Buffalo Bills last weekend as well. So, Combs, Dallas Cowboys are sitting at 6-3. And the Minnesota Vikings are sitting at 8-1. Way or no way, the Dallas Cowboys can pull the upset over the Vikings.
Way. I mean, they can. They're still a good football team. They still got a really good defense. Dak Prescott's not a slouch. Their receiving core is pretty damn good too. They're not the Minnesota Vikings. They don't have just Jefferson, but they're a pretty good team. It is a way. I mean, it's a possibility. I'm going to pick the Vikings in this game though because I just think the Vikings are a better team. Dallas always seems to find a way to lose games like this, but I just think that the Minnesota Vikings are a better team. But yeah, it's a way that Dallas can find a way to win, especially in this year's NFL.
Yeah, so you definitely kind of edged your bets here like a little bit. Well, there's a way they can win, but I'm going to pick the Vikings.
Well, there is.
I mean, obviously, there's obviously a way to win, but are they going to win? Absolutely. The Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC. Yes, they shit the bed in overtime because their coach freaking sucks, but let's just move on past that point. Mike McCarthy, hashtag fire him. Let's get that trending on the old Twitter machine. But, guys, the Dallas Cowboys is going to go into, I don't even know the name of the field anymore. It's not even the Metrodome.
They're the third best team in their division.
No, they're not. They're better than the Eagles. They're better than the Giants. They're better than the Vikings. They're better than the 49ers. The Cowboys are the best team in the NFC, Combs. Their record may not reflect it right now, but do not let them get hot and be hot in the playoffs because they are a Super Bowl team and they're going to win the Super Bowl if they make it past the first round of the playoffs. And to them, this is the first round of the playoffs for them. They're kind of in this must-win situation versus the Minnesota Vikings. You remember when we were saying last week how the Buffalo Bills, this was kind of like a prove-it game for them versus the Buffalo Bills. This is a prove-it game for the Dallas Cowboys going up against the 8-1 Minnesota Vikings. Like, hey, don't you guys forget about us. Yes, we shit the bed. Our coach shit the bed versus the Green Bay Packers. But, hey, we are here. CeeDee Lamb is the man. Do not sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, Combs. Do not sleep on them. They are the best team in the NFC, period.
They're not the best team in the NFC. They're not. And you said don't let them get hot. Yeah, they were hot, all right. The hot garbage against the Green Bay Packers. And so I don't. They're not the best team in the NFC. They're not better than the Eagles right now. They're not even better than the Giants right now. And I've been saying that for weeks, which is why the Giants are in the power rankings and the Dallas Cowboys are not, because they're not better than those teams. And There's, they're not. I don't even think right now they're not better than the Seahawks.
If you want to go that route, the Cowboys beat the Giants head to head. They should be better than the mail rankings.
Oh, here we go.
Hashtag Facebook trolls for the win. But come on. Definitely they're going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Come on, man. Last way or no way of the night, Combs. Are you ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
No way. Yes way.
And for the last way or no way of this beautiful Wednesday edition of Man Hour Sports, if you guys have not done so already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. We are live every Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. East Coast time currently. But the AFC West, guys, we all thought this division was going to be one of the best divisions in football. People are saying the Denver Broncos were Super Bowl aspirations. The Raiders are going to be so good with Devontae Adams. Don't forget to sleep on the Chargers. The Chiefs were going to be, Combs, I believe you said they're going to miss the playoffs and be the worst team in the division. Is my mind serving me correctly? Like on that?
No, I said the Broncos are going to be the worst team in that division.
Well,
I said the Chiefs are going to be third.
Okay, so definitely not first place. But right now, they are the number one overall seed in the AFC playoffs if they were to start today, sitting at 7-2. They had one of the hardest schedules ever, their first 8 games to start a NFL season. But now, on the back half of the schedule, they do have the seventh easiest schedule on the back half. So, Combs, way or no way, the Kansas City Chiefs will have home field advantage and the number one overall seed in the playoffs this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say no way. They've got people keep saying that they got like the 7th easiest schedule, and maybe I don't know what math that they're using, but I mean they've got the Chargers. Look, the Rams are banged up, so the Rams just aren't good. But they got the Bengals. They do got the Broncos, who always seem to give them trouble in Mile High. They've got the Seahawks, and then they've got the Raiders, who are always a thorn in their side. I believe they beat the Raiders by 1 point earlier this season.
Sounds right. I think it was like 30 to 28 or something like that.
Yeah, and they usually split with the Raiders. It's just how it goes. So I think they probably lose 2, maybe 3 more games. And I think that the Buffalo Bills probably only lose 1 more game. So I think the Buffalo Bills will end up taking that number 1 spot back. I think the Buffalo Bills will run away with the AFC East because I don't believe in the Jets or the Dolphins keeping pace. So I'm gonna say it's a no way they won't be the number 1 seed when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and let me put a full disclaimer out there. I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I got the Super Bowl hat right there.
And a Colts fan and a Packers fan and a Cowboys fan.
Right.
And you've been hanging out with Mike LeBlanc too much.
Right. But the Chiefs are my number 1 team. I do have the Super Bowl hat. Combs, I know you haven't seen one of those in a very, very long time. I believe since 85, right? I was even born in that.
We were in the Super Bowl in 2008.
You were in there, but did you win it?
No, they stopped pressuring freaking Peyton Manning.
But with that being said, I see your Buffalo Bills, and I do believe they will be ranked higher in the playoffs than the Kansas City Chiefs. So that right there puts them at number 2. So that is a no way right off the bat. However, there is a team that we've all been kind of sleeping on, and this is a team that the Kansas City Chiefs just beat at Arrowhead Stadium, 20-17. I believe that was a Sunday night game, right? That is the Tennessee Titans, guys. The Tennessee Titans rattled off 5 games in a row. Yes, they did lose last week, right? But guys, this team is what? They're 7-2, right, Combs? Like they are a really, really good football team. They're 5-3. My mistake.
5-3, yeah.
But like looking at their schedule moving forward, they could definitely run the table. Like, we want to talk about easier schedules. This team does have a easier schedule. They do play the Green Bay Packers, the resurging Green Bay Packers. Let me use those air quotes very, very loosely there. And then they play.
They win that game.
Yeah, and then they play the Bengals. Jamar Chase probably won't be back, and they're at Tennessee. This is a revenge game. And then they play the Eagles. They're probably going to lose that one. But then they play the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chargers, Houston Texans, Dallas Cowboys, and then the Jaguars again. I mean, I realistically only see one or two more losses on their schedule moving forward. So that puts them at the dead race with the Buffalo Bills, the Chiefs, and the Titans. But I think they only lose one game for the rest of the season, and that puts them at the number 1 seed, Combs.
Well, it would put the Bills at the number 1. If they finish at the same record as the Bills get the number 1 seed because they lost to the Bills 41-7 earlier.
Right.
In the
Yep.
season.
Head to head. Yep.
But I see what you're saying. I don't want to say that we're sleeping on them because for one, their quarterback's been hurt. They did lose to the Chiefs last week. They beat the Broncos this past week. So they started out 0-2.
Right.
And now they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 6-3, not 5-3. 6-3 are the Titans. So I would say I don't see it. I don't see them being the number 1 seed because they fade down the stretch. They get worse as they go because of how reliant that offense is on King Henry.
Right.
And it's hard for a running back to sustain that for a full season. Like King Henry is a beast. But you can't be given the ball to your running back when you're down by 20 points in the fourth quarter. And when he brings you back, just rely on that week after week after week.
Right.
So I'm going to say no. I don't see them. I don't see the Titans being slept on. I don't think that they're that good. I think it's between the Bills and the Chiefs for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, and I think it's a three horse race, and I definitely do not see the Kansas City Chiefs getting that number 1 overall seed, and they seem to be better as underdogs anyway. So kind of give them that underdog role, right? Why not? So we do got a couple comments that I told that I was going to address here later in the show, and this is, let me scroll all the way back up here. This is from Casey Morgan, and Combs, as we know, Josh McDaniels is the Raiders head coach currently. What's their owner's name that needs a freaking haircut? Like Al Davis Jr. or something? I don't know, whatever the frick his name is.
Al Davis Jr.
He is freaking ugly as dog crap. But he says that Josh McDaniels' job is safe and he's doing an excellent job. However, Raiders fans are screaming to get Josh McDaniels fired. Should the Raiders fire Josh McDaniels?
I wouldn't fire Josh McDaniels. He's in his first year with the team. I mean, they've been injured. They've been playing hurt. Give him a couple of years. Let him try to build a team. Let's see what he can do. If by the end of year 3, if a coach isn't good, then I say go ahead and get. But you got to give him some time. I mean, look at Matt Nagy. His first year with the Bears went 12-4, and they went to the NFC title game.
Right.
You don't. And then what was he towards the end after that? He was garbage. So I don't. You can't judge it just by their first year. You got to give them some time.
So I did see a crazy stat about Josh McDaniels, right? He was the Denver Broncos head coach about 5-6 years ago, right? He was 6-0 starting out the season, and then they got caught filming teams' practices. Since then, he is 1-24 as a head coach.
Wow.
Wrap your head around
That's bad.
that. Yeah.
That's bad.
1-24. But it is what it is, right?
Maybe you don't give him time. You know what? Fire him. Fire him. Get out while you can.
But I don't understand what the thought process is of hiring a guy that clearly cannot get the job done, right? They're like, hey, since he's underneath Bill Belichick and win all these championships, he's got to be good, right? Good at taping and cheating.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you want a high draft pick, hire Josh McDaniel.
Right. Exactly. And honestly,
I think that's probably why the Colts went for Jeff Saturday, and then he messed up and won a game.
Yeah. Hey, Colts are Super Bowl or a playoff bound too, baby.
Oh God.
Sit us out,
We're
big
gonna
guy.
lose this week.
Sit us out.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.